for you. There we go.
How's it going?
Hey.
You alright? You good?
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the job.
Thanks.
Hey there.
Let's.
Alright.
Oh gosh, let's do this, guys.
Channel switched. Microphone activated. Resumed. Welcome back.
593 is going to be 1041.
Handful.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and get ourselves some AMA. I wish it'd just give us the other vest first, but that's okay.
The vehicle theft.
All right, we got the body armor there, guys. We got to go ahead and get suited up. Let's get our weapon ready here, and we should be all right.
One on nine is going to be 10-7 for your mates.
Handful.
If you need me at all, I'll be at the office.
All right, let's go ahead and do this here real quick, guys. Bear with me just a moment. Um. All right, let's take a look here. All right, here we go. All right, All right, so we got a weaponry. We're good. We just gotta continue on here and see what else is up. And oh man, frame rate definitely gets lost when I'm streaming in this game. It runs so much better when I'm not live. Okay though.
$594 plus 1 is going to be in a 1011 with a motorbike currently southeast to the Vespucci Boulevard, and no additionals required.
10-4.
Let's get outside real. Oh wait, yeah, I got my weapons. We're good. Okay, yeah, let's go get out to the car and let's get to. Oh gosh. That's not good. That's not good, good. That's not good, good. No, that's not really good. Let's get in our cruiser. Yeah, I don't like this, man. This new lock system. I mean, I can't even do it while I'm in the car. Go ahead and open that up now. Already we're getting car stealing and it's already annoying as it is. And I'm low on gas. Holy mackerel, I think I just saw a car flying by. Master Son, what's going on? Oh, let me stretch. I am stretching. Oh shoot, we could turn, guys. This is the one way.
1076 to BX at mechanic shop.
Why not? Go ahead and mark me 10-8. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, we got a green light, guys. Let's go.
Code for Do anyone responding to the 1010s at the car dealership?
10-4. 594 plus 1 is 76.
10-4.
He was deported, I think. One of them was.
go ahead and get this bad boy deposited here real quick, guys. Good evening.
It's code 4 at PDM.
Sound full.
All right, we're looking good, guys. I gotta go get some fuel.
There seems to be a bike zooming past you.
10-4, 594 plus 1 is going to be attempting a 10-11 on this bike. It's currently just entered pillbox.
Sound 76 to 1010, is that Ginger Street?
I mean, technically this is a straight lane, but let's get some more gas real quick. I can deal with 66. 66 is pretty good. I usually like it when it's like 70, but this is tolerable.
Going code 4.
Okay, it's pretty good. Locals drive crazy.
It seems he has got no warrants, arrests. He's got one unpaid fine, but that's he has a license.
Well, let's see. What is going on? Thank you guys. I appreciate those. Thank you, Andreas. All right, let's keep moving around, see what else we got here. That's good. Uh-oh, I think my eyes, I'm seeing something else. I gotta be careful here.
Good, sir?
Hey, how's it going there?
Do you need something?
533.
Yeah, how are you guys looking on your toolkits? I know you guys said you were short on stock earlier.
Yash on the forehead.
I'll take a look.
Yeah, no problem.
Send for it.
So we got about 100 fix kits
Oh, okay, that's good.
and about 120 body kits.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know what happened yesterday. I guess you guys were like short on supply or something happened. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, we weren't able to get into our vault.
oh, so everything's okay now? Did the mechanics came and fix it for you?
Yeah, I just checked the vault there, and we can get in it now.
Sounds good. Do you mind if I purchase one from you guys so I can keep here in the cruiser?
Yeah. Do you want a body kit or just a repair kit?
Just a repair kit.
All right, sounds good.
There we go. We're playing GTA 5 right now, Chase Striker. GTA 5. Yeah, nice, right? Yeah, GTA 6 coming out, so I hope everybody's ready for that. I know I am. Oh, yeah.
Apparently our vault is still broken. It is not letting us take it out of the vault.
Oh, well, that's not good. Huh.
Yeah, so sorry about that.
Well, what are you guys doing with the customers? Like, you're probably going to get a lot of complaints.
Oh, I've still been able to go up to them and repair them myself. I just can't hand out any kits.
Gotcha. Okay. Huh.
So yeah, I could still, anyone that needs repair, I can come by and repair it.
Gotcha.
I just can't sell any kits.
All right. Well, if anything, if I start seeing I'm not sure how it works for you guys, but I know like so when we have like one of the locos, when one of their vehicles are like misplaced, do you guys get anything for it? Like, do the city give you guys salary for it or no?
No, I basically have a base salary of like $800.
Okay. And what about like with some of the citizens that are like certified? Do you guys get anything for them if you impound them or anything?
So no, it just kind of goes to the company.
Gotcha.
The only way an actual mechanic like gets any extra money is if they pay cash for a repair.
Okay. So repairs is pretty much your commission.
Yeah, but if I have to send in a bill, like if I bill you for it through the phone, it goes to the company. It doesn't go to me. But if I bill you through cash, then I get to keep the commission of cash.
You know what? I have a really great, brilliant idea here for the city. Just got to see if the government hears me out. But how would you feel if you guys were in charge of doing body work and customs to yourselves rather than these Los Santos shops around town? How would you feel about that?
Dude, that would be freaking amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to them because it's possible. So let me just see if they're willing to do it, and I think it would be better for you guys for sure.
Yeah, because like as a mechanic, like literally everyone always just asks for a bill. So literally, I just get my $800. That's all I get.
Yeah, no, that's not good. Yeah, I'm gonna tell them that the Los Santos Customs, they've been known to do some illegal activities anyway. So we're gonna see if we can shut those guys down and just give the business to you guys. That way, repairs would just be handled through you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Sir, are you talking?
No.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I saw your lips moving, just no words.
I was just I was lost, you know. Lost in words.
It's okay. It happens.
Yeah, but officer, yeah, if you could do that, that'd be awesome. Cause like, it's hard getting by. Like, I made more money, clocking chickens. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, man, those chickens, gotta love it. But the days I used to run after those things, oh my gosh.
Man, like you can make some good money doing that though. Here, I'm pretty much just making $800, and
Yeah.
that's what I get.
And that's maybe like what, once every 30 minutes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not like often.
And then whenever I repair a vehicle, and then for cops, we
Well,
have
Officer Chick's becoming the boss around here, right? Oh my god.
free repair.
Yeah. Hey, trust me, if it makes you feel any better, even as an officer here of the city, I don't get paid that much either. I capture these criminals, and let me tell you, the things these bad guys have on them, and oh boy, sometimes it makes me wonder what the temptation is there, because yeah, there's some quick money to be made in this city, but you get caught and you end up paying more.
Yeah, but you know what's weird? Like, just between me and you. All right, so I have some outstanding payments I need to make to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but I can't pay them.
Yeah, I think there might be some conflict with that. So, yeah, technically,
I don't want to go to jail because I can't pay my
honestly,
my dues.
between me and you as well, don't worry about it. Like right now, if I were to like look for you through our computer right now and search you up, I don't even think I can even check your fines at the moment.
Yeah, I have a guy here who has outstanding payment.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but they said I had 7 days to pay it, but I'm like, I've been trying to pay it, but it doesn't let me.
Yeah. I'll look into it. I know this has been a recent issue, and this was after the city transition.
Yeah, no doubt.
Officer Watson?
Oh, well, what you got there? Some apple juice?
Yeah. Some very nice apple juice. You want some?
No, it's okay. No vitamin C for me right now.
Alrighty.
I don't want to overdo my vitamin C intake.
Alrighty, I'm sure it'll do you good for driving.
Yeah, it drives the stomach good.
You know, all you gotta do is put the phone in the cup too. I don't know if you see my phone in the cup.
I don't know. It sounds kind of phony if you ask me.
That's useless.
Hold on.
Hey, officer. Quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you happen to have a just one drink and one food on you?
Yeah, I do. I got you.
Oh, now that's a good bystanding citizen right there.
Oh, thanks, man.
I'll
I
give you
need
that
to stop to
cheap
the
shit
store and
either.
get that.
Oh gosh. Did you like that, Chase?
That'd be awesome if you can put
Oh,
give us all those body kits and stuff, and let us do the repairs instead of Los Santos.
My phone is stuck in my hand. I can't put it away.
yeah. Don't worry.
Pull your phone out and put it back away.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to do. Yeah, I've been trying to call you again. Fuck. Alright, whatever.
It's away now.
Yeah, I mean,
Man.
nope.
Oh, so yeah. Do you guys need? Hey, Ponytail, you need help with anything?
Well, while I'm here, my vehicle is a bit scratched up, so if you could polish that, that would be nice.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, here you go. I got this for you too.
Oh, a rose.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, you're welcome. Here you go. Just take it from me. There you go. So what's your name?
593 here, responding to the 1090.
My name is Sergeant Kenneth Newton.
Okay, I'd like to speak to you. Go over.
Cancelled. Still head up there.
10-4. Oh no, what's this notification thing? Oh, I totally just missed my exit. Alright, let's get going here, guys. Caught up Bodie. Oh god, Trix. Jeez, dude. Guys, don't drive like this. Like, just don't. I was trying to press something else and finger slipped badly. Oh, I'm gonna be stressed out though. That's the bad thing about. See, the only thing I don't like is the stress stuff. Jeez, that speed. Holy mackerel.
One's gonna be 10, 21, 10, 8.
10-4.
Discard fights at pillbox.
I don't trust those trucks, man. Those truck drivers are dangerous. Dang, we're going fast. 170. Whoa! My car is gonna go out of control. Holy mackerel. I don't think my cruiser is supposed to go this fast. Yeah, I customized my car and it drives beautiful. Should probably wash my police car. I'm almost there. Man, this is such a long ride. LOL, yes. Wash the car? Yeah, I'm going to. I have to. Oh! We can pick up speed right back anyway, so I ain't worried about it. Alright. 593 is going to be one mic out. With that recent 1090. I'm gonna go ahead and code 60 area. So what that means is we're actually going to investigate, guys. We're just gonna do an area check just to kind of see what's going on here. I'm gonna go ahead and go to code 1. There's no need for code 2. Oh, what the heck is going on here?
Keep up, cadet.
I don't want to just sit in people's driveways. No, it's not good. I'm gonna go here anyway. Alright. 593 here. I'm gonna be at Polito Bay's bank. I'm gonna go ahead and check it out.
10-4.
LSPD, if you're in there, make yourself known.
531.
Go ahead.
Are you
LSPD, do anybody inside?
like weapons training for EMS?
Yeah, frame.
Wow, that's a local car?
If you're
Holy
available,
mackerel.
can you do that for me?
Alright, LSPD, I'm coming in.
Meet you at the
Keep your hands up. Nobody's responding.
closest one to PDM.
Why are you aiming here?
The
Is
one
there something
at
here?
the gun store?
Yes.
Alright, I'm gonna sign off duty so people can use local dock for it.
10-4.
771 will be 10-6 for however many mics this training takes.
Uh, 593 here. It's gonna be a code for it, Polito. This area seems to be clear.
Done for.
No sign of anything, guys. Let's go ahead and head up out of here, I guess. Oh, 1022 to 1010. I just punched my own window. Is that like a bounty hunter Patty Mayo to YouTuber? Really? What is the second later? Boom! You're wasted. I know. Yeah, I should have really have came here by myself, but it's all good.
22 vehicle theft at PD.
I do need gas. I don't have no money on me though. And I am at a bank, right? Duh. I am at a bank. Just use the ATM. Screw it, whatever. I should actually be inside, but the hell? Oh, there we go.
Seven 771 to dispatch. There's a massive pileup at Legion. Not sure what's causing it. Seems to have gotten better though.
Thank goodness this gas pump works. Gonna pump some gas in real quick. Right. Yeah, no, I love GTA 5. I really do, guys. And I really love roleplay. Sometimes there's some really annoying aspects about it, but other than that, though, guys, it's a pretty fun gig if you really get into it. You know, it's not for everybody. The hell? I'm typing, duh.
Currently got a man here. He's dressed in an officer's uniform, LSPD. He's currently driving a white vehicle, not talking.
White Oracle, Udon, go chase him. It's that.
Okay. My stress levels are crazy. You know what I should do? I should... You know what? I'm not even worried about it. I should upgrade my car, but it's all good. You know what?
It's currently in the PD parking lot. Sorry to
I'm just gonna go ahead and code 2 this because this is annoying.
We're gonna be in an active 1080 here with his 4-door Oracle.
He's buying us drinks. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm son. 75. Yeah, I'm saving money, bro. I'm cheap. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Like, I roleplay as a cheap guy. Like, I got a house with no furniture. Like, that's how cheap I am, guys. I am not kidding.
Announced by the LS Customs.
I don't want to be driving super
We're gonna be dropping
fast.
off at the 1080.
10 for same traffic.
Yeah.
He was wearing a LSPD shirt with a silver badge.
Holy shoot. Gee, trucks, look. Trucks don't move. Only the cars do. Oh, it's gonna be a tight squeeze. Whoa! I hit it? I didn't hit it on my screen. Oh yeah, see, there's some weird things going on with the server. Thank goodness for the restart, though. We needed it badly. How do I get these notifications off my screen?
Be advised, here's a here.
Oh. Interesting.
He just ran me at the PD entrance.
Bum 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 bum. I got 93 fuel. It was 100, but I'm going back to Los Santos. Oh yeah, man.
Requesting additionals.
I'm sleeping on the floor. Right.
I'm on my way.
Someone's gonna fly in and out. Out and in.
Let's just keep going. When
Well, your radio voice box is all good. It's just the city one.
Yep, you all sound how you're saying I sound.
Oh, okay.
Be advised, he has the one-way
User
entrance.
disconnected from your channel.
I'm gonna just keep going this way.
A white one.
Did he shoot at you?
Negative, he did try to ram me in the local though. Sorry, not local, the civilian.
What the way? You know, I'm going back to PD. I'm gonna go ahead and I gotta get my car fixed. Holy shoot. Go ahead and take lead.
Gonna be back in the 1080 with the same 4-door white Oracle. Left, westbound San Andreas Avenue. Left, southbound Elgin Avenue. Opposite lanes of travels.
I hate this stress crap. Like my screen is shaking. I don't like it. It's annoying. Suspect's getting on foot.
Oh, we got one detained.
It's on full.
Stop.
Hey!
Just start escorting him, cadet.
It's fine, I got him trapped in a bush. Stay here. Oh, never mind.
Alright. Sir, do you have a working... 22 fights.
Oh my god, the shaking. Come on. I don't like when my character gets stressed out because then I need to drink some iced tea. That stress is annoying. I couldn't see anything. Oh, my house is empty. Yeah, it is. It is. Good work, guys. Oh! Let's go ahead and move on out of here. We got that one. Alright, let's go ahead and... My car is damaged, man. What's going on here? Oh, is my car not locked? It's not locked. Let's lock it up because people be trying to steal cop cars, man. Okay, I need to get this notification. Oh, wait, can we go in here? Nah, I didn't think so. It'd be nice if they made it to where you can. Trix? Yeah. I hope I'm not sleeping on the floor. Yeah, so here's where you buy weapons. You get a pistol, flashlight, machete, bat taser, blah, 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 blah. Right, let's head up out of here. Thanks for visiting. You're welcome. I left my door wide open. You're right, I did. Whoopsie daisy. Let's hop inside, guys. 593 here. I'm at the Ammunitions here on Apple Boulevard. No sign of any medic. Not sure if this has just been left unattended.
Where are you? Gonzalez?
Yeah, I'm right here. You don't see me?
No.
What? Oh no! Are you
She
crying?
had to have a nap. She had to have a nap.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
Are you crying?
Oh, there she is.
What?
Where do
Okay.
I sound?
So
How do I sound?
better. Perfect.
Sound clear, but can you see me?
No.
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay.
I can't.
Oh boy.
Well, you need to have a fucking nap.
Oh,
Yeah, probably.
I think we might almost have another.
Alright, let's go.
First. Hi. Who are you?
Hello there. My name's Chris. I'm with the Topless Taxi Service there, ma'am. If you ever need a ride, just give me a shout.
Well, I have, that lovely vehicle over there. If you ever die or anything, give me a shout.
Oh, perfect, ma'am. Hopefully, it won't die anytime soon, but
I hope you
never
don't
know.
die, but, I can,
Taxi service is a rough business. You never know who you're going to pick up.
Yeah, you look bloodied and bruised to me, so I imagine you've been in some scraps.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you got to fend for yourself sometimes out there, but
User
oh well.
joined your channel.
Alright, let's, continue on with this.
Nice meeting you.
Yep, have a good day.
You too.
Good luck.
With a red 2-door sports car. Currently in the northbound
Good.
House Street.
My,
He's in his car.
oh gosh, what the?
This is, looks to be turning into a 1080. Southbound Power Street. We have
531 is 10-6 for weapons training.
10-4.
10-4. Do you need an additional for the 1080?
10-4.
10-4. 76.
Westbound San Andreas Avenue.
All right, here we go, guys. Gonna be hard to look at chat because I'm driving fast.
Pass.
Suspect is heading eastbound.
10-4.
User joined your channel.
Negative. I have eyes on the suspect right here.
Up, 10-4.
Heading past the job center. His vehicle is smoking. Taking a right. Westbound down Apple Boulevard.
501 is going 1041, 10-8.
Is he smacking him? Why is he smacking him? What the hell's going on here? I'm confused. Why are we smacking the suspect? Alright.
22 shots.
Boxer
fired,
man.
shooting range.
Yeah, well.
Suspects on foot at the construction site. Oh gosh. Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Headed straight.
10-4. Let me switch to my taser here.
Realized I lost eyes. You were wearing the...
Is the suspect unarmed?
10-4 seems like it.
LSPD, put your hands up! And stop too! Alright, suspects down.
Fucking insane. Insane.
Yeah, didn't do anything.
Alright.
We're going at 100 miles per hour. That's a bit
I
over the
don't
speed
think
limit,
so.
so...
Your
Yeah.
radar is broken.
You know, I do have a speed radar, and I did catch you on that.
Maybe it's broken.
Yeah,
Going
no.
like
Uh-oh.
You know,
not
I-
that fast.
it's pretty easy to see, people going faster than the speed limit. I've been doing this for quite a while, so...
Shit.
Alright, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right from the attorney. If you can't afford one, will be provided to you by the state. Do you understand this rights?
Yes, I do.
Alright, sir. I'm just gonna be searching your pockets. Do you have anything that I can poke, stick, or stab me on you?
No.
Alright. Alright, sir.
Alright. While he's doing that...
Going to fight vehicle theft.
594 plus 1 is going to be 1076 to the latest robbery.
Can't you just let me go?
Mind your head.
Uh-oh, uh-oh.
Do it anymore. I promise. Oh shit.
So I ran a 1028 on this thing, and the name seems to be coming up kind of woozy. I mean, does this citizen have documentation that this is their vehicle?
Yeah.
I haven't asked him yet. He doesn't know a driver's license. I really doubt so.
Oh, could be stolen. We did have a report of a stolen red vehicle earlier, and it might fit the description. We had a local come in and complain about it.
Yeah, I'll ask him on the way back to PD.
Okay.
Thank you for the assistance.
Hey, no problem. We definitely got to get those dogs fixed.
Yep, they are running really slowly.
Oh gosh. All right, you take it easy out there.
You too, sir.
Store is code 4.
(533) just code 0. Would you mind taking the suspect?
10-4.
Hello? Does anyone need assistance at this time?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, sir. Seems like our officer's eyes just kind of rolled back there for a moment. I'm just gonna go ahead and take you with me, okay?
10-4.
Just watch your head. I'm gonna go ahead and get this door open for you, and then I don't want you to smack it or anything.
Okay.
Sure. All right. We're gonna go ahead and walk over in this direction. How's your eyes feeling? You feeling okay?
Yeah.
All right. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and place you in this vehicle. Just go ahead and watch your head on the way in. All right. So he's already been read his rights and stuff. All right, 593 here. I got the 1050. I'm gonna go ahead and head to Mission Road for processing. Oh gosh. Oh, so what were you thinking back there?
I didn't notice my speed.
Are you aware of the speed limits in our city?
Yeah.
So was that your vehicle back there?
Yeah.
We're gonna check because we had a local come in and complain about a stolen vehicle, and it kind of fits the description there. So we're gonna need some proof of documentation that that's your vehicle.
Yeah, there are a lot of vehicles like that.
All right. Well, we'll find out. Also, did you happen to have a driver's license on you?
No.
All right. We'll handle all that once we get inside.
Boat, no.
All right. Let me go ahead and get you escorted out of here real quick. All right. Here we go. Just watch your head. All right. Go ahead and follow me. We're gonna go this way. Sir, you don't want to try to run. Okay.
Yes, today.
Go ahead.
And then the last thing that I have is this case with
All right, we're gonna go ahead and head downstairs.
We have information on an organized crime or an organization of crime, like gangs, called the Ballas.
Sir, are you hiding from me again?
And I went undercover and they took me into the hideout and I went into their
Go ahead,
safe
hop in.
and they have some major weapons that need to be taken, like raided as soon as possible.
All right. All right, we're gonna go ahead and go this way. All right, head on up, make a left, and just continue straight. All right. We're gonna go right through these double doors right here. Right there. All right, take the left door. All right, go ahead and stand against the wall in front of you with the lines. We just got to get you measured up here real quick. This one right here, sir. If you don't mind, go ahead and turn around, facing forward. I need you to stand a little bit more to the right if you can. Or to you, it'll be your left. Right in front of me, sir. Right there. Right, that's perfect. Okay, that's good. All right, go ahead and turn around. All right, stand still. All right, just gonna go ahead and take a quick photograph here. Make sure you smile to the camera.
Cheese.
All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just do this. Okay, so we got the screenshot, which is good. Okay. Seriously? Alright, let's get these, let me just get a couple shots here and we'll be all set. Oh gosh, what the?
Oh shit, what the fuck?
Oh, this camera!
It's abuse.
It poked my finger!
I wanna go to court.
594 plus
Police
1 is
abuse.
going to be attempting.
Okay, alright, alright. Oh,
Motorbike. Sorry.
Chief's gonna have my head on that one. Alright, alright, so we got you there. Okay, go ahead and follow me real quick.
My nose hurts.
Are you, how are you feeling on your belly and your...
I will spin it.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just got fights.
No, I appreciate that immediate backup. That was a great response.
Yeah, no, I was just upstairs.
Perfect. All right, sir, we're going to follow me. We're going to head back down, and we're going to begin our processing.
Well, you seem to have this under control.
All right, thank you.
Suspect is pulled up.
Sir, right over this way.
My helmet.
You need to get GTA 5. I know, right? All right, let's go ahead and head back downstairs where the cages were. Right through these double doors.
Can I get one additional here in case it's to take off?
10-4.
531 plus 1.
Hey, let me out.
Oh, come on.
EMS.
All right, right through here. Just head on straight down.
Seven 501.
All right. Go ahead and get that gate for you. Go ahead, hop on in.
771 to 501.
Oh
I know, sir. It's a beautiful station. I know.
Is 501 here?
Yeah, I got kinda lost.
It's okay. It's a lot of rooms.
The GPS for this.
Go ahead and hop on in through here.
I have a question for you when you're free.
10-4, I'll just be a moment.
Am I free to go?
Not yet, sir. I just need you to go inside this cage here just for a moment. All right, so I need you to go ahead and stand against the cage here. Face your back towards me. I'm going to go ahead and take these cuffs off of you, okay?
Gonzalez, you are talking very loud. Can you please turn your voice box down?
10 for it. All right.
23 at the tunnel.
Whoopsie daisy.
10-4, you just want to follow me a sec.
All right, sir. Let me go ahead and get these off for you real quick. All right, they should start to feel a little better. Okay.
Oh yes, it feels nice.
All right, so if you don't mind, I just need you to hand me over the driver's license that you have in your pockets. Do you have a license on you?
No. I don't have one.
All right, sir. Everyone should have a license unless you got them revoked. Are you new to the city?
Yeah, I'm new.
Okay, go ahead and if you can't, just flex your F9 muscle, and then just see if there's one there in your wallet there. Let me know if you see anything.
Which muscle?
Your F9 muscle. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. All right. Did you okay. What's the name on the ID?
Boban.
Okay. Put this here real quick. So we got Robin Jonovich.
Did you see my ID card?
Yes, I did. Thank you so much. Here, let me go ahead and let me just write this down real quick, and then okay, here, let me just go ahead and give you your ID back. Go ahead and take that back from me.
Yep, thank you.
All right, there's that for you. All right, just give me just a moment, okay? Just hang tight here, and then we'll get you on your way. We won't be too much longer. We're almost done here. I'll be right with you. All right, so we got to go over here, guys, and conduct these charges. So we're gonna go ahead and do this real quick. All right, let's take a look here, guys. So we have the database here. We're gonna look up for Bobbin Jonovich. I don't think I want to do a person check here, guys. See if he has any records. License, no licenses. Wow, he does not have a driver's license. Okay, that's not good. All right, so enter data target. We're gonna go ahead and hit Bulbin. It's not typing. What the heck happened? Oh shoot. 593 here. Do we have issues with the CADs currently?
Good question.
I seem to be stuck at the terminal. I can't seem to get my eyes off of it.
Worked fine for me. You may need to take a nap.
10-4. I'm downstairs with the 1015 right now. All right, 10-4. Let me. Okay, guys, we're gonna. I can't even log out. What the?
771 1076 pillbox.
Boom, bada, boom, bada, boom. All right, let's get back in real quick, guys. Yikes.
31 plus 1, 1076 to Great Ocean robbery.
All right. Here we go, guys. I gotta get back in. I do apologize. Hold on.
533 is gonna be 1076 to mechanic for repair.
109 to 531. Do you need assistance?
Probably. It's just me and a cadet.
10-4. I'll be 1076 to Rob's Liquor, Great Ocean.
All right, looks like we're loading in here, guys, which is perfect. All right, let's get back in there real quick.
501 to 109 direct. Can you please pop down to the
Hello.
FIB
Hello.
Will do. Currently in a 1090 right now. Let's
531.
Yeah, sorry about this. I had to rest my eyes for a second. I was having some visibility issues.
Outside.
1 moment, okay? Alright, let's get this guy out of here, guys. I don't want to hold him up too much longer. Alright. Alright, so
771 is back tonight.
alright, so this one, Bobin. Jonovich.
771. I am free now. Did you need to talk to me?
I just had a question about the how green I can make people. I was told that you might know.
How green?
Yeah.
Charges. Alright, so charges we're gonna do.
I'm gonna send you an email.
10-4.
Okay, so with this one, we're gonna do.
We're gonna have one guy inside claiming he was, he's not a robber, but he's been told to stay inside.
Oh, don't tell me I'm glitched again.
He said the robber has left.
Come on, man. Oh my gosh.
501 to 593.
Yeah, 593.
Are you okay?
I'm having issues with the CAD. I keep losing, like, my eyes keep getting stuck.
Okay, don't use the CAD then.
Done for it.
Just get a mugshot and post the charges in the in the government.
Yeah, this is why we need an external CAD.
If you were searching for charges on another person, just check the mugshot area.
Alright, let's get back in again. Yeah, 10-4. I'll just go ahead and do the alternate method. Yikes.
What is this guy being charged with?
We were in a 1080 and he's driving without a license. So yeah, I'm getting him for reckless driving, driving without a license, and then he tried evading from us. And that was it. He's still new to the city. It seems like he's like new here. Uh,
109 to 501 direct. One on 9 to 501 direct.
Alright, try to log back in, guys.
10-4 on traffic.
Do you want a 1025? Do you still want to go into the different frequency?
I just had a meeting with the chief of staff. He wants you to go down to the FIB area, not me.
10-4.
Okay, that just happened.
User left your channel.
Okay. Okay, thanks. And tell him to lower my fine because he beat me up. He punched me in the nose. I swear,
Store's
I'm
clear. Who's
not
the other one
lying.
inside the store?
Did you have to fly out, Gonzalez?
Yeah, that's an affirmative. I had to do it twice. I'm back in.
10-4. Okay, I'm just here with your prisoner.
Okay.
What is the sentence you're giving him?
So I had a little muscle spasm earlier with the camera in the room that we used for mugshotting, and it punched my finger, and I accidentally hit the suspect. Yeah, and I had him detained for quite a while, so I was gonna go to a little lenient on the time.
10-4. That sounds fine. He's quite cooperative at this point.
Okay. All right.
Why don't you just let him free and take him to
Yes,
get a
exactly.
driver's license?
10-4.
I want to break free. I want to break free.
Okay.
Oh, that's really nice.
But I don't want to see you in here again. The next time we will send full charges, full fines.
Understood. Will try my best to be a good citizen.
All right. You want me to?
That's how much it costs to get a driver's license.
Oh.
How much?
I just handed you $500, I believe. Is that the right person?
Wait. What's this in my pocket? What the heck is it?
Oh,
Wait.
Sorry, can you hand that to him, please?
Yeah. I'll take care of that. There you go, sir. I'm gonna hand this to you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, thank you very much.
No problem. We do our best to make. Go ahead and hop on out.
I'll try my best to be a good citizen because of you.
1 on 9 to 501 direct.
All right, go ahead and follow me. We're gonna go ahead and go to the main lobby here.
Are you okay to jump to scene 2 frequency, please?
10-4, just helping out a new guy. Be one moment.
User left your channel.
Oh gosh.
Did he
All
have
right.
any weapons or anything on him, or food or water?
Negative. Not. Are you hungry, sir? Are you hungry or thirsty? Need anything to drink?
Kinda,
Disregard, shots fired, about to come in at Legion Square.
I wouldn't mind a meal or something.
Oh, let me go ahead and stand. Did you want to give him anything or me?
Oh, thank you. For the
I gave him 5 iced tea and 5 sandwiches to get him started.
Wow. I don't even get 5 sandwiches and iced teas. Lucky you. It's your lucky day.
Two-door black sports vehicle from that robbery.
Make sure to drink and eat regularly, or you will pass out.
Currently southbound Grey Ocean Highway.
User disconnected from your
What a
channel.
nice sandwich. Very delicious.
Oh yeah. All right. Oh, that stuff right there, iced tea. You definitely want to. Don't worry. We'll have janitors come and clean it up.
Left, eastbound West Eclipse Boulevard, going off-road a little bit.
Look out for our driver.
User joined your channel.
So am I free now or?
Yeah, you're okay. So
Southbound, basically.
what we want you to do? Have you ever? Do you know where the driver's ed would be, like to take your driver's test?
It's going to be 10-1 down to scene 2.
Yeah, I think I can find that on GPS.
Taking a left.
Okay, just make sure you head there, take your driver's test. You don't want to get caught without it, okay? What you have right now is a state ID, but it's not a driver's license.
Okay, understood.
Yeah, it's a pretty nasty charge.
Right now.
Continuing.
Yeah, so our officer here gave you the some money to help you get caught up. So go ahead and get that driver's test. Try to stay out of trouble, be a good bystanding citizen, and you have a great day.
Yeah, thank you so much for everything.
No problem.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Continuing around eastbound Dorset Drive.
Okay.
Gonna be merging left here, northbound Las Lagunas Boulevard, vehicle 1050 slightly. Attempting pit. Continuing northbound Las Lagunas. Vehicle 1050.
You did a U-turn.
I gotta go get my vehicle, guys. Shoot.
It's gonna be heading westbound Spanish.
What time is it?
Past the import shop.
I'm not supposed to go this way, but it's all good. I'm on duty, so I should be okay. Oh, really? I'm glad my car stayed.
Continuing westbound Spanish Avenue. You'll be taking a left here south on Portola Drive.
1050, okay.
What the? Alright, so we got that going. Whoa!
User joined your channel. User joined your channel.
Let me see here for a second.
One is 10-7 for 2 mics.
Blow this out real quick. Give me a second, guys.
$501 to 594 direct.
Be advised to research the vehicle.
I did not know.
594 is 1015 to PD.
Hey Gonzalez, I think you need to change your badge number.
Oh yeah, nobody gave me a new badge, so I just been sticking to this one. Yeah, it's just been sticking with this one. No one's handed me a new one yet.
Check out the government website.
Did work.
There is an LEO tracker. I also announced it when I gave you your promotion. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was.
Oh, 10-4, I got it. Let me go ahead and grab that inside the mission row real quick. Alright, so... we have this, which will now be 5x1. Alright. I gotta go change my badge, guys. Give me a second. Give me a second. I need to manage this. Manage bookmarks. Where'd it go? Oh, it came over here. Wow. We're now going to be F51. Hit apply. Okay, we got it. Woohoo! 551 here. Yeah, that's gonna be. Do we do slash?
594. When you're done with that suspect, I need to have a 1025 with you immediately.
I think they took out backup.
.109, where did you go?
Ooh, okay, we're looking good, guys. We're looking good.
Wait, 10-9?
I just get an armor.
Oh, 10-4.
All right, good. All right, let's get going here, guys. Okay. That should be good. Huh. There we go.
703.
Here we go.
Are you in the city?
I'm having some technical difficulties, but yes.
Alright, 10-4.
Uh-oh. Alright guys, I'm probably gonna close this down. I see things kind of slow down here. So let's go and take a break. I'll catch you guys later. I'll probably get on later, whatever, so maybe later this evening. Keep you guys posted. Alright guys, see you later. Bye.